you tell us about your background in immigration law and what led you to practice in Edmonton?
Okay. I'm born and raised in Canada, but my parents are Palestinian immigrants to Canada. So we always noticed that there was a big refugee community within the Palestinian community and the Arab community at large. And growing up, I always seen friends of my family or friends of friends have issues with immigration growing up as a child. And their biggest fear was having to go back home. So I grew up around that environment, and I always felt, wouldn't that be neat when I grow up? I could do something about it. I can help people. So growing up in multicultural Canada, I realized that we are a multi-ethnic society and that there would be an opportunity to assist not only people within my own community, but other ethnic backgrounds. And part of the joy of what I do is we don't bring people to Canada, but we make damn sure they stay. And I always wanted to do that. It wasn't just about money or making money. When you grow up being a lawyer or thinking of or dreaming about being a lawyer, people often think, well, you're thinking about money or finances. No, I love what I do because I literally change lives. The team at Shawar Law, we change lives. What do? People who would otherwise be deported or are going to have to leave, we get them to stay, and we get the most impossible, difficult situations cleared up. And then the best part is seeing their smile at the end and having them say, Mr. Shawar, you changed my life. I can now build a future in Canada. So I was always interested in doing something not related to criminal or family, divorce law, or personal injury, something that was going to lead to a positive outcome, something that I knew no matter what would change somebody's life. So coming from the background that I came from, it was always a dream of mine to help people who would otherwise have no clue what to do and would otherwise have to go home. So it's been the greatest privilege of my life to be a lawyer. And I've always been grateful and thankful for that. So what led me to practice immigration law in Edmonton, in Canada, was just that. We could help people who would otherwise have to go home and change their lives and change it for the better. So I'd say, in one simple sentence, changing people's lives for the better. That's what made me become an immigration lawyer.
Immigration cases can be stressful. How do you support clients throughout the process and help them determine the most suitable immigration route?
Well, fortunately, I've had about 20 years experience doing that. So I can safely say I've seen it all. One of the things I tell clients, it's like getting in an airplane and there's turbulence in the airplane. It's going to be a rough ride. The plane is shaking. Everyone is nervous, but then you look at the stewardess and you look at the pilot, they're calm. They've done this a million times. And they'll get you safely to your destination, and the plane lands. You might be nervous, you might be anxious, and the consequences are serious. It's like, again, flying in a plane. It looks very dangerous. What if, God forbid, the plane crashes or it has to do an emergency landing? What then? But again, when you get that turbulence, you see the storm while you're flying in a plane, you'll notice the pilot is calm, the stewardess is calm, and they got this. So what I tell clients is, again, I've seen it all when it comes to immigration. I've seen very challenging cases that don't initially appear to be challenging, but because of the change in immigration policy, immigration laws, suddenly become very challenging for the client. And I can proudly say that we've helped clients from all sorts of backgrounds, all ethnic backgrounds, supremely difficult cases, successfully become permanent residents. And I'm proud of that. I'll take that to my grave. So how do I support clients? It's just letting them know, leave it to us. We got your back. We know what we're doing. And that gives them the confidence to believe in us. So having clients believing in us is what makes the difference. And having the background, the knowledge, but more importantly, the experience and expertise and the solid track record. When clients see that, then they know they're in good hands. So definitely. And we care. We genuinely, they know we care. Often I tell clients, it's like we want this more than they do. So they get the feeling that we care, we want it as much, if not more than they do. And that makes them feel more calm and secure about the process.
What are the most common immigration challenges you see among clients in Edmonton and across Alberta? And how do you help them with that?
Well, I wouldn't just say it's in Edmonton and Alberta. I would say all across Canada. It's been the same theme for about 20 years. People come from all over the world. They have an expectation about what their end goal is. And their end goal is they're not just coming here to study. They're not just coming for a visit. They're not coming for just working. They don't want to, at the end of the process, just stay here for a few years and then go back home with nothing. So one of the greatest challenges I see has always been there's nothing new. And it's the same theme. They come with the expectation that there's going to be an easy game plan or a game plan to get permanent resident status. And what they find is either it's not that easy, next to impossible, or even if they think they're a shoo-in for the process, the goalpost keeps moving and they never seem to get to the end zone of what they want. So I would say that is the number one challenge, whether it's, hey, I thought I had enough points under express entry. Hey, I thought I did my paperwork properly. Hey, I thought I could get my PR. I thought I was going to be able to live in Canada. I've been in Canada 5, 8, 9, 10 years. I thought by now I'd have it. We've seen it all. I've seen everything from removal orders, deportation orders, inadmissibility, the most difficult cases. But again, the proudest achievement isn't me being a lawyer. It's thankfully having the best team in place. And with my team, myself, being able to get people permanent resident status, no matter the difficulty of the case.
How has technology changed the way you manage immigration cases and communicate with clients? Do you use digital or AI-based tools to track applications and improve efficiency?
We were at the forefront of the digital age with law firms long before COVID, long before AI. We were way ahead of the game. So we always used a digital-based platform. And by that, I mean we have made it convenient for clients all over Canada, wherever you are, or all over the world, achieve the best pathway to getting the result they want. And by that, I mean really making it easy. Clients have the expectation that they want to know where they are in the process. And I would say that we are always able to communicate with them, but they can always see where they're at through our digital platforms that we have in place. We have always been able to keep up with our messenger services, with our digital communication platforms. And it's been that easy. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are in the world or where you are in Canada. You literally just reach out to us and it's like we're at your fingertips. So thankfully, we've always been ahead of the game when it comes to that.
What advice would you give to individuals or families considering immigrating to Canada today? And how do you see immigration law evolving in the coming years?
Well, right now, I would say, although it's always difficult, it's always been difficult. So although the rhetoric today sounds like it's impossible, it's always been difficult. It's never been just a breeze to become a permanent resident. You have to remember, immigrating to Canada, it's not a right, it's a privilege. And what I love about my job and being an immigration lawyer, it's not about protecting one's rights, whereas in criminal law, you're protecting somebody's rights. In immigration, you're getting somebody a privilege. It has always been an extreme privilege to immigrate to Canada, to even visit, study, or work in Canada, let alone become a permanent resident. So I would say it's always been a privilege. It's never been a right, and that privilege has never changed. So although it seems impossible or difficult, It isn't. You just need the right lawyer, the right professional. And fortunately, I've been doing immigration law for 20 years. And I have the best team. The boxer Muhammad Ali used to say, it's not bragging if you're telling the truth. It's just the fact we have one of the best teams in Canada at Shawar Law. And although it seems difficult and it is challenging, it's not impossible. So I would say Canada's still a great place if you want to build a future. It is still a very multicultural, multi-ethnic society. There is plenty of opportunity here. And if you want to become something special or be someone, I'd say, and you're coming from Africa, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, South America, Latin America, even Canada or Western Europe, this is the place to be. It's still where it's at. So I would definitely encourage anyone who is thinking about immigrating to Canada to go ahead and do so. It is a much better place to if you're a foreign national coming from abroad, to bring up a family or become someone and live and fit in, I would say.
Are there any recent changes in regulations or job market trends that your clients should be aware of?
Yeah, it's a lot. The game has changed. So I would say before 2021, before 2022, they were approving LMIAs much more easier. That whole, let me get an LMIA, go to work in Canada, or let me get an LMIA renewal and renew my work permit and then move on a pathway to getting permanent resident status inside Canada. It's become much more difficult. If you are serious about staying in Canada and becoming a permanent resident, and you are here, I advise you to reach out, not to a consultant, not to a friend, not somebody who did it and successfully got their PR or their immigration status. The game has changed. Like I said, they have kept and they will keep moving the goalpost to make it almost impossible, but unless you have the right help. So, in this United States, Donald Trump has been very blunt about immigration. He's told a lot of people just to get out. Canada, they don't use that language. They're not rude, but they are systemic. So where you think you might fit in, you'll find out you don't. And that's why I say right now, hire a qualified immigration lawyer, somebody that knows what they're doing, has the background, has expertise, and more importantly, has the track record and does care. So I would say anyone who's looking to immigrate or stay in Canada, dig your heels into the ground, be prepared for a fight, but it's a fight well worth fighting for, and it's one you can definitely win with proper help.
What are the most common mistakes international students make when first immigrating to Canada, and how can they avoid them?
I would say they fail to plan long-term. They just assume that what programs are available today will be available 2 or 3 or 4 years or upon completion of their studies. So that's where I hear, my friend did it this way. Well, your friend came to Canada 5 or 6 or 7 years ago. Yes, that policy did exist then. Yes, it was easier then. Or yes, that process worked then. It no longer applies today. So when they initially come to Canada, they assume that whatever was in place either before they came to Canada or even at the time they came to Canada was in place. It no longer is going to be the case in 4 or 5 or 6 years or even 2 years. It's not stagnant. So what I would say is you got to look at the trends. You got to see what's going to happen. And more often than not, it's very simple. Call an immigration lawyer. You're in Canada, call a lawyer, contact a lawyer. We're available. Contact us. Say, hey, look, my plan is to become a permanent resident before my time expires. Make the investment in speaking to a lawyer. It's not that expensive to talk for an initial consultation, see where you're standing, where you're going to stand in a few years, and what you should plan to do. So I would say failing to plan and failing to go to a qualified professional for assistance is the number one mistake they make. And it's a costly mistake.
Have you handled any particularly challenging or complex immigration cases? Can you explain it?
When are they not complicated or challenging? It's always a challenge. Let's see, whether it's the Pakistani individual who came with no legal status on a fake passport walked through the border from the United States and is living and working in Canada illegally, or the Mexican national that literally walked through the border and is working illegally for a number of years, no status, living under the radar, whether it's somebody who came legally and lost their immigration status, failed to renew their work permit, was unable to get an LMIA renewal, has been told they have to leave Canada, whether it's somebody that made a mistake. They came in, a lot of international students, they have a party with friends, they end up driving home, drinking and driving, get a DUI, are now criminally inadmissible, are going to leave it to Canada. Their life is ruined. Their parents have invested in them to make it to Canada. They've made that mistake and they're going to leave or going to be ordered to leave. Whether it's somebody who unfortunately got bad advice and made a bogus refugee claim that has now been denied, or they're no longer going to process it because of the new laws. We've seen it all. I mean, anyone and everyone that's been inadmissible, going to be removed from Canada, is going to be deported, or has no clue, no idea, and their work permit or visitor permit or study permit is going to expire in about a year or 6 months or a few months, and no clue what they're going to do after. Yeah, that's what we deal with. And I can say we have the best record in Canada when it comes to those situations, bar none.
What milestones from the past year are you most proud of? What's next for Shawar Law in 2026? Are there any exciting plans on the horizon?
Well, I mean, milestones, I would say the most thing you're proud of is again, getting successful outcomes for your clients. So although, people have said, oh, it's impossible, can't be done. No, thankfully, we're still proving them wrong again and again. Whether it's consultants who say, no, it's impossible, or unfortunately, other lawyers who are not well-knowledged in immigration laws or immigration lawyers for that matter. I would say, you know what, winning again and again. And I can honestly say that is the best milestone, is just changing people's lives. On a personal note, I would say, becoming King's Counsel. I was appointed this year as King's Counsel. I am the first ethnically Palestinian lawyer in the history of the Commonwealth to be nominated, given the King's Counsel appointment. So for me, that was the personal honor. But again, that's a personal honor that was bestowed upon me. I've been very humble about it's humbling to get that. At the same time, the best achievement is getting the outcomes for clients. For me, my personal achievement is the King's Counsel, but that still pales in comparison to, changing people's lives. It's always been about that. Changing people's lives, getting them to stay in Canada. That's number one. Number two, yeah, definitely the King's Counsel nomination. That was a big deal for me. I never thought that somebody with my background would get it. But again, the work spoke for itself. The achievement spoke, the client spoke for us. And I'm very proud and humbled to get that achievement.
What impact has your ThreeBestRated listing had on your firm's visibility and customer trust?
Well, I would say that it's a fair reflection of what we're able to achieve for clients. So, I don't like to say we are the best. I'd like to say we're one of the best. But I can proudly say we are on the top tier of immigration lawyers in Canada. So definitely it's helped in that it's reflected the top tier quality work that we provide to people. And it's given people the trust in us to contact us and proceed forward with their immigration plans. Okay, thank you.